Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the AJDeFranco vlog. Today I'm, here in my office, and I figured why not show you some of my cool animation art that I've collected over the last few years. I actually got into animation art back in 2008, and I just bought one cell, and it didn't start going crazy until when we were in the pandemic. But anyways, here I'm going to show you some really cool art. Now obviously you guys know this one. This is an animation cell that back in the 1950s you're able to buy at Disneyland. This is of Humphrey the Bear and that park ranger. I can't think of his name right now.
The name is J. Audubon Woodlower.
But when I saw this cell, I was like, oh, this brought back a whole bunch of memories as a child, watching old Disney cartoons. And this is from the cartoon called Beezy Bear. You can see it on Disney Plus. It's really funny. It's from the same scene, but the frames are slightly off. And then this cell here is from a cartoon episode of the TV show Pinky and the Brain. When I told my wife, one of the things I really wanted to do was, after we got into our new house, was to buy a Pinky and the Brain cell. Well, 1 year later, or almost a year later, there it is, finally got it. And of course, here's this Chippendale Rescue Ranger cell. I've been trying to find which episode it was from, but it's hard to find. But it is a real Disney cell. So the thing interesting about the cell is that, yeah, they did the pen tracing on the front of the cell, and then the painting on the back of the cell. But they also did a little painting on the front of the cell for the water effects. As you can see where it looks like they're soaking wet. They actually did some water effects on that, where they just painted some water drizzle all over it. Pretty interesting. Then of course next to Chippendale, we have Bugs Bunny. Yeah, what's up, docs? How y'all doing? And he is from the 1970s. Now, this Bugs Bunny cell is from Carnival of the Animals, which was directed by Chuck Jones, and it was made in 1977, I believe. And this was the first time in years that you actually saw Bugs Bunny in something new, because his final Looney Tunes episode, or movie cartoon, was, sorry about that, theatrical release was in 1962, and there wasn't anything really new of Bugs Bunny until this came out. Now this here was the first animation cell that I ever bought. I believe it was like around 2008. I was at a big box store, and there was a road show that was selling animation art. Then I saw it had Bill Hanna and Joe Barbera's autograph on it. And I was like, oh, this is so awesome. Because, growing up as a kid, you pretty much were watching Hanna-Barbera cartoons on USA. Or Cartoon Network after that. And so this was so cool to find. The cartoons from the 1990s, I don't recall the name of the cartoon, but I was like, well, Bill Hanna and Joe Barbera's autograph. Wow, that's so cool. But yeah, it's pretty neat. Now, veering off of animation art, this was a really cool find. I found it at a Second Chance store. And let's see if we can get to the price tag right there. It's blurry, but you can see it was $11. Yeah, I left the price tag on it. Oh, there we go. It's because it was going for $11. That's why I still kept the tag on it. And this is an actual, real, original Hank Ketchum comic strip from the 1970s. I was like, wow, that's so cool. This was a really good find. And you can even see, like the hand, sorry, it's a bit blurry, but you can see the ink lines and everything all over it. And it's like, this is not a print or anything. This is the real deal. This here was just an amazing find. I had to play detective because it had the name of the framer on it. So I had to play, of course, art detective, and traced it to a place in Carmel, and found the owner, met him personally, and the owner said, yeah, Hank Ketchum used to come in all the time and have frames done over his place. And, well, this is such a cool find. Now, this here was another cool find. I found this, of course, on eBay. This is a old Pogo cartoon from the 1960s. And I think one of the things that's so cool about this is that this was actually, there was a copy of this comic strip in a history book in school, back in high school, and this cartoon this stayed in my mind, and it was like, it was one of the funniest things that I read at the time. And yeah, it's from Pogo, and there's a comic strip about Pogo Possum and his friends in the Hokey Fanoki. You guys should look at that comic strip. It's very funny. And this comic strip was by Walt Kelly. And Walt Kelly, of course, was good friends with Ward Kimball. Now, this was a really great find. I found it for $1.50 at a second chance store. And it's actually a drawing by Ward Kimball, also signed by Ward Kimball. And it's so cool. And it says, "This is for Kelly from Donald the Duck, manipulated by Ward Kimball." Now, I remember the first time I actually saw this was in a Disney gallery store in Carmel Valley. And I was a little kid in the first grade. I know it was like around $1,700 to $1,800 at the time. Obviously couldn't afford it. Years later, me and my son, we went to a second chance store, and we found it there for $1.50. And I grabbed it, bought it, and just walked out of there afterwards. I was like, yep, don't look a gifted horse in the mouth. And, well, here it is on my wall. And one day, when I pass on, this will go to him. And now this cell here was another cell I found on eBay. And the thing that's really fascinating about this one, it's from Alice in Wonderland. And it's the whole cell. But like with the first cell I showed you with Humphrey the Bear, this one is kind of slightly off sequence, where you have, of course, you have Captain Dodo or Mr. Dodo there, and he's supposed to be holding the fire, but I guess whoever got this cell, whoever was at Disney Productions who gave it away, got it slightly off, because he's not holding the fire here. This is from where after the fire was put down. But it's still a pretty cool cell, to say you have a cell from an original Disney animated feature is pretty freaking awesome. And then as for these two birds, I have no idea where they're from. I am still trying to do research in that. But, yeah. And then look at this here. This is cool. Sold at a TCM auction back in the late 2010s, so around 2019. And my daughter Abby, she loves this one too. She loves this one, and she loves this one. Oh, and don't mind my dusty Mickey there. Got him at the park years ago. So anyways, so me and Abby, we were looking at the actual cartoon Tugboat Mickey, and you can find this exact pose in the cartoon. So occasionally she watches it, she pauses it and goes, "Daddy, look," and then points at the picture. It's so cute. Well, that's just some of the art that I have, but it's a lot. Trust me, it's a lot. And down the road, I'll show you guys some more of my art collection. But until next time, this vlog is La Fine.